What is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Today we are going to talk about the funk classic Shakey Ground. If you haven't been to my channel before, we are going to talk about everything in numbers, right? So if you don't understand that stuff, here's all my beginning lessons here. Okay, and the way we learn songs is we learn the bones of the song. And what's really cool about this song is there's so many classic versions, and I'm going to talk about the original Temptations version, right? Temptations and Eddie Hazel. I'm going to talk about the Delbert McClinton version. I'm going to talk about the Don Henley, Elton John version, and that way we can kind of see how everybody's kind of interpreting the song, because it's a really cool way to like, oh, look what is staying the same, which is the bones, what is making it sound like the song, and then what's different, which is so cool. Now, first things first, all of today's lesson materials, there's going to be some scale charts, there's going to be tabs, all of that is available on Patreon, and the link is below. I sell t-shirts and assorted other merch, frankly. You know, this is, that's sideways. I got the Bones guy. We've got the cat guy, right? The cat guy. The one. And other stuff. I got mugs. I got sweatshirts. Please join the link below. Printful.mattbradfordmusic.me. And that'll give you merch, right? And then I build my own instruments, and I build these for sale. I have conversion necks for whatever your bolt-on instrument is. I also have full instruments. The link for that is on Reverb. Reverb is below, or email me, whatever site I put it on, email me, because I can give you a better price without the Reverb fees, and I can also give you better shipping, because Reverb doesn't always calculate shipping well, and I had to add some flat rate stuff for like the world, and if you don't see anything, some of the stuff is set, I gotta reset my shipping. Basically, just hit me up, email me, we can talk. And finally, if you like what you're getting, you're like, man, this was super helpful, I really appreciate it, I don't want to do any of that stuff, I just want to leave you a tip, boom, QR codes, leave me a tip, it would be greatly appreciated. Alright, so, Shakey Ground is in the key of E, and with a lot of funk tunes, it's like, the chord is really like an E7 chord. There's not going to be a chart today, because it's just that E. Not that mid. Right? We'll just play it like that. Alright, for tones, I'm using, obviously, one of my guitars. This has Lawler Firebirds in it, which are kind of like big fat single coils. I'm going through a tweed champ from Tungsten called a Tungsten Mosaic, and I'm using a compressor from Empress Effects for the compression. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to teach you the riff from the Temptations, from Delbert McClinton, from Elton John and Don Henley. I'm also going to do it with and without a capo. And then we're going to also talk about some bass lines and some horn lines, just to, if somebody else is playing the riff, if you're jamming this song, you know, some other places you can go. So, let's start with the Temptations version. Today, we have an overhead camera. Normally, and if you've been here for any of my other lessons, right, I usually put a chart up on this side, and I highlight it and do all this stuff. Today, we're not going to do that, because you have this overhead camera. So instead, I'm going to just do the camera thing. If you miss the highlighted charts, then let me know, and we can go back to those, or we can figure it out. But basically, adding more editing is not going to be sustainable without taking away some other editing. So, there it is. All right, so, the Temptations version. Now, let me just show you the riff first, and then we'll talk about it. And I tabbed it out differently. Basically, so they have this opening riff. And this is the riff that sort of everybody plays. That part. Right? Now, what is that? Well, it's mainly pentatonic scale. But it adds a natural 6. So it adds the regular 6. So just below your flat 7 is your 6, right? And so I'm doing thumb, index, and then I'm raking. Okay? So picking, raked twice, and then I'm muting these 3 strings. I'm muting all the strings, right? You see where my hand is? I'm muting everything. Let's make sure it's in the shot. Okay, it's in the shot. Good. Oh, this is gonna be such a challenge. So I'm muting here, and I'm hitting these 3 strings. I can hit them all. That's the wrong riff. Okay, now, so the first half. Let's not get distracted yet. All that is 1, 1, right? On the scale here, 1, 1, flat 6, or 6, flat 7. Okay? Start with that. Don't do anything else yet. Now, check it out. Everything's really tight, including my throat, apparently. It's not that. It's not this big open. It's so rough. It's so rough. Right? It's got to be tight. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make with funk, is they try to take up too much space. And the biggest thing with funk, and we're going to talk about this later too with the horn lines, with everything, is it's all about like just being really percussive, being a drummer, and then just really taking up not a lot of space. People think it's got to have all this extra crap, and it doesn't need that. Right. Okay. Now, they're changing it up each time they do it. The second half, right? So, first half, second half. Now, the first time I did that, I just did this. I just did like a roll, where I'm kind of hitting all the strings, but I'm just rolling. I'm coming right off of them afterwards. And I'm doing the same thing on the second one. I'm just. That's it. Okay, but. And the second time. Okay, so the second time I'm sliding from 5 up to 7. But I'm not really staying on 5. It's not. Although you could do that too. And that's the joy of this. They start really changing it up, and they're always changing it up out of the pentatonic scale, right? They keep changing it up each time they go through. But that basic idea of screwed that one up. Right? So you can start to just, again, it's all about being rhythmic with the pentatonic scale or that 6. But, and this is the key, don't do too much. Right? When you listen to the song, they kind of change it up each time. It's Eddie Hazel. I mean, he's a legend, right? He does a lot of funk with fuzz. Like, he's one of my favorite players of all time. But it's all about being rhythmic and not taking up too much space. That's the key. Right? When you go to the Delbert McClinton version, it's the same opening riff. And it's just that. So this is probably the most popular cover of the version of the song. I did a little bit of research, the chat GPTs and the stuff, and it seems like the Delbert McClinton version was the most popular sort of over time. Temptations version is amazing. There's an Etta James version. There's all this stuff. But that riff is really similar to the Temptations one, right? But now, right? And so it's similar. It's really similar. And we hear that it's the same song. And it's totally different. Now I gotta go listen for the timing for the Don Henley Elton John version, because it is, once again, it's different. And again, once I start getting into these different versions, the timing starts getting a little funky to me, and we're gonna figure that out. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the Henley Elton John version is really cool because it's a little bit different. They change up the feel on the opening part. It hits quicker, right? And then so they totally changed the vibe on the second half. And that's the same, so it's the same vibe still, right? 6, flat 7. So instead of just, he's adding a second low root. And then 6, flat 7, 6, 6, flat 3. The first time through. And then, the second time through, at least in the opening, and again, they switch it up a lot during the song. Right, so really similar to the Delbert McClinton version the second time through, but you still have that. Now, those are all super cool versions. They're all slightly different. I'm going to put the capo on. I'm going to go back through them, but I'm going to talk about the bones now with the capo. Without the capo, with the capo, it's really similar. It's, right? With the capo, it's the exact same thing. It's just instead of my bar, right? As you can see, instead of my bar, oh man, I've been bad with this angle too. Let's see. Let's put it there for now. But no, let's not do that because that was a mistake. Oh God. So the real trick, the only real trick is now my muting has to come from my right hand. Just for those first two. Okay, I've forgotten all the versions now. It doesn't matter because, okay, you're seeing how the capo works, which is great. I realize this lesson's a little more all over the place than I had intended, but we're going to go with it because we've learned the opening riff from the Temptations, from Delbert McClinton, from Elton John and Don Henley. So we have the riff, and the bones of that riff are just, and then something around, right? And then the second time we just gotta get that root. Now, let's add a little funk to it. There's a couple things. Number one, obviously, keeping everything super tight. Number two, though, is, see, I can start to just slide off of my note. I'm just sliding into stuff, sliding out of stuff a little bit. Up is always cool, right? Down is cool. I'm not even getting to the next note, right? The next note is there. I'm just adding a little slur, a little. I mean, that's probably, that feels like the wrong word in this day and age, a slur. But you know, I'm not even getting down there. I'm not getting as low as the next note down. So let me show you. I've added. We're not there yet. Okay. Next thing's next. Next thing's next. There's a bass line, right, that you keep hearing throughout the song. That when they start changing parts or they get to the end of 4 bars, right? And again, it's this really cool thing. It's not really a scale. It's just a climb from the 6, which we've been on, 6 twice, and then we're gonna do 6 twice up to a 7, right? And it has a little pickup. Okay, and the way I'm doing that here, thumb index, and then index thumb index, right? To give it that sort of a pickup. So we have this. How does it go? And then, right? So it's just one more thing. You're going to hear it happen throughout the song, and it's the bass that's doing it, but we can mimic that on the guitar. And it just starts, or on the lap steel in this case, right? But at the end of the day, and I've said this before, and then people go like, well, it's lap steel lesson. Your first hashtag was lap steel. We're playing music. We're not playing lap steel. One of the things that's so cool about funk is people are going to go like, whoa, I didn't know you could play funk on that. And it's like, dude, you can play funk on a marimba. Actually, I think marimbas are pretty common in funk. You could play funk on an accordion. You just got to get funky. We're playing music. Right? You can play funk on piano. You can play funk on guitar. You can play funk on horns. You can play funk on anything. So, the whole idea here is not to play funk, but to be funky. Which then means you're playing funk, right? Does that make sense? Is that a thing? Okay, so let's say we've got this version, right? We have this thing. We know the bones of the song, and I'm gonna leave the capo on. If I was covering this song, I would play with the capo because capo 2 is a comfortable place for me, right? If I'm capoing up here, I start to have considerations. I'm not going to capo up here, but for this song, I would probably play with the capo because it just gives me... I can do that without the capo, right? I've already shown you how to play the riff without the capo, but for me, I would capo. The rest of this, we're not going to need... It doesn't matter either way, frankly. Until we get to the other part. We'll see. But, camera's getting hot. Let's take a break. And then I'm going to show you the horn lines from the Temptations. And then I'm going to talk about how I would put it together. And I'll play a version, which you heard on the opening. But we'll go through what we got. Okay, and then the last thing. Let's say you're playing the song. And somebody else is playing that riff, right? Well, we have other options. If you listen to the Temptations, there's so many options with funk. The biggest problem that I find with people playing funk is they try to do too much, right? It's all this, and it's like it shouldn't. It needs to be these stabs that are happening all over the place. We'll talk about it. We're going to do the track. But check it out. There's horns in the Temptations song. And the first one they have is this oh. I'm hearing it as one note in my head now, but I know it's two in the song. So, okay. So, yeah, it's right? And that's, again, this is around the pentatonic scale with a 2 added. Right? And if you look at our blues scale, for example, so this is the pentatonic scale with our 4 chord and our 5 chord around the scale. Oh, look, here's that 2. Also, there's that 6, the flat 6, the 6, the flat 7, the 7, and the 1, right? It's all there. It's all in that scale. So, right. I have the tab right behind me on the desk, waiting to scan it. Right. So again, 4 5, flat 7. So. It's all just coming out of the pentatonic scale. I could do other stuff. Right? Do it around the 1, but they seem to be, they really like to be around the 5. That's such a cool, unusual thing that I wouldn't have thought to do. Right? Dancing around the 1, which is so cool, off of the pentatonic scale. So, check it out. I have a version that I've put together. It's the backing track. It is, again, included in the lesson materials so that you can find your own version. But it's at 93 beats a minute, and which is the original Temptations one, and I think it's also the Delbert McClinton one, right around there. I mean, they're not on a click, I would assume. So it's around there, but I'm on a click because that's how I roll. So check it out. If we take that lick, that opening riff, we need the bones, right? And here's that climb, that bass climb. Ooh. Okay, so I exported it without the bass on it, so that wasn't good. We had to redo it. This is my version, right? I'm taking the bones of the song, creating my own version from all the versions we've listened to. And that bass part. Let's add some horn parts up top, right? And then what about... right? That's a version. And the idea here, as we learn this song in particular, is being able to move through different stuff. I didn't love all the stuff I did up here, but I'm improvising, and so hopefully you can be gentle with yourself. I try to be gentle with myself as I record this stuff, and it's like, oh, am I gonna leave that in? Yeah, I am. I'm gonna leave that in because at the end of the day, this song is not, when you listen to the versions, they're getting in there and they're playing as a band. So if you want to sit down and you want to learn each note, note for note, this is how they did it. Cool. But even cooler is learn the bones and then play along and hear where you can expand and find your voice. I hope that this one made sense. And I never know, I always say that at the end of these videos, but like, man, I don't know. So we'll see. But thank you for hanging. You're rad. I hope this was good. Please subscribe and buy instruments and t-shirts and give me money. That's what this is. This is all a sales pitch. Thanks for hanging.